So a little fella by the name of Joseph Raisinette Biden is currently on the campaign trail. And he is doing a little something that we like to call over here on the Kyle Kulinski show, letting his nuts swang. They are swangin'. They're not swinging, they are swangin'. So, one of the things that people have been yelling at the Democrats for a while now to do, including Bernie, he's been saying this quite a bit, is like, hey man, talk about the economy. Talk about what their plans are and what your plans are and why your plans are better. Because the number one issue for the American people is definitely the economy. So, for example, they talk about inflation all the time. Inflation. They don't even make an argument. They just say, inflation bad. And the implication is, they're in power, it's bad, put us in power, we'd make it better. Well, one of the reactions to that, and again, Bernie points this out, he's right too, is to say, all you guys want to do is cut taxes for the rich and deregulate, which would make inflation worse. They already had, corporate profits already at a record high, and you want to give these absolute jackals and hyenas more money? No, the real way to address inflation is windfall profits tax. Tax the profits, return it to the American people. Great idea. Also, onshoring jobs, because some of the inflation is because of the fucked up supply chain. Onshore jobs. Well, we've already done 350,000 jobs, and we're going to make that keep going up. This is what you do. Talk about the economy. Their plans for the economy are abysmal. Just to give one example, they're literally arguing to overturn the provision of the Inflation Reduction Act, which lowers prescription drug prices for seniors. They're out there saying, I want higher drug prices. That's what I want. Let's make grandma and grandpa pay more. They're not even hiding this shit. Dan Bolduc, or whatever his name is, the one who Tulsi's campaigning for, said this on Fox News the other day. Not ashamed or anything. Like, yeah, higher prescription drug prices. Rock on. Okay, so, for the love of God, talk about the economy, Democrats. Clonk the Republicans over the head. Well, here is Joseph Raisinette Biden sprinkling some raisinettes on his opponents' faces and kind of destroying them. Watch this.
Folks, Democrats are going to protect Social Security and Medicare. Republicans have been very clear. They've stated boldly that they want to cut Social Security and Medicare. And to the point that they'll shut down the government, they say, and send the nation into default, which raises prices for everyone if we do not cut Social Security and Medicare. I ain't gonna do it.
All right, look, I can't lie to you guys. I like the whisper thing. I think the whisper thing is kind of badass. I kind of like it. You put the emphasis on, I ain't gonna do it. All right, Joseph. All right, dog. Pick your nuts up. They're rubbing against the ground, homie. God damn. I like it. By the way, they are actively campaigning on this shit. Nobody even mentions this. Well, Joe just did. But it's like Rick Scott from Florida, the literal gremlin senator, one of the things in his, agenda for America was, let's privatize Social Security and Medicare. And you got, what's-his-face, Ron Johnson, who thinks every year Congress should have to vote on reauthorizing the money again and again and again, which, of course, would destroy the program. Why is anybody talking about this? Well, thank you, Joe, for talking about it. This is a huge deal. They want to cut Medicare and Social Security. We don't. He's right. Now, I will say, look, Joe Biden does not have the best history on the issue of Social Security and Medicare. He has put cuts on the table previously. By the way, he was VP to Obama. Obama, remember, he tried the grand bargain, which was, yeah, if we get some tax hikes on the rich, we will put in the budget cuts to Social Security and Medicare. And the reason why that didn't get through is because effectively the Tea Party was like, we want more cuts. And Biden and Obama were like, no, this is all you get. And so because of that, the whole thing got blown up and we had no cuts to it. Okay. So we actually got kind of lucky because the obstinance of the Tea Party made it so we didn't have any cuts. So now what people are afraid of is, well, maybe Biden will actually cut. He says, I ain't going to do it, but maybe he will actually cut it because previously he has put this shit on the table. Look, I don't know. I hope he doesn't do it. But what he's describing here is the Republicans are going to try to use the debt ceiling. So you have to raise the debt ceiling because it's about money we've already spent. So if you don't raise it, you're saying, I'm not going to pay back the debts we already owe, which would obliterate U.S. credit and would tank the economy. It would be a catastrophe, the likes of which we haven't seen since the fucking Great Depression. So Republicans, if they win, are going to use the debt ceiling to try to get what they want from this president. But look, I hope he's being honest when he says, I ain't going to do it. I hope the whispering, nut swanging Joe Biden is right. I hope that he's serious. Because look, here's how homeboy used to talk about this issue.
Let me ask you a question, Joe.
Yeah.
You're right here with me.
Yeah.
Have you been on the floor of the Senate? You were in the Senate for a few years.
Yeah.
Time and time again, talking about the necessity, with pride, about cutting Social Security, cutting Medicare, cutting veterans programs.
No.
You never said that.
No.
When I argued that we should freeze federal spending, I meant Social Security as well. I meant Medicare and Medicaid. I meant veterans benefits. I meant every single solitary thing.
So a freeze in benefits is effectively a cut. It's like, so in other words, don't do the cost of living increase. This is what he was arguing at the time.
In the government.
Look, here's the deal.
You're an honest guy. Why don't you just tell the truth here? We all make mistakes.
I am telling the truth.
And I not only tried it once, I tried it twice, I tried it a third time, and I tried it a fourth time.
Joe, let me repeat it again. I want you just to be straight with the American people. I am saying that you have been on the floor of the Senate time and time again talking about the need to cut Social Security, Medicare, and veterans programs. Is that true or is that not true?
No, it's not true.
That is not true?
That is not true.
I meant veterans benefits. I meant every single solitary thing.
Yeah, so this is his record. Now, so I had a conversation with Crystal about this, and she made the point that, like, there's no way he's going to do it now. Why? The argument is the political environment is so much different than it was in 2010. And I hope she's right. She may very well be right. I hope she's right. Because there's no doubt that Biden from the 1990s, if you had said, you know, hey, let's reduce student loan debt, he would have been like, how about we increase student loan debt? So he does seem like the kind of politician, and there's evidence to suggest that he's the kind of politician that, you know, where the national sentiment goes, he follows it. And the national sentiment was at the point where it's like, pardon nonviolent weed offenders at the federal level. And he did it, right? This is a guy who was a tough-on-crime Democrat. He was the crime bill Democrat. And then now he's like, let's free those people that I locked up, right? Or let's make it so that thousands and thousands of them who can't get jobs now can get jobs because we're going to wipe the slate clean with their record. So basically, he's a total hypocrite, total flip-flopper, but in this instance, it's good that he flip-flopped, because now he's flip-flopped to the proper side. Reduce student loan debt, free the nonviolent drug offenders, and hell no, I'm not cutting Social Security and Medicare. So for the love of God, I hope he's right. But of course, you know, the downside is, and this is why I preferred Bernie over Biden, most of you did as well, is that you didn't have to worry about Bernie. You knew, of course he's not going to cut it. He wants to expand Social Security and Medicare. So with Bernie, you wouldn't have had to worry. With Biden, you're crossing your fingers and saying, oh, I hope he doesn't buckle. But to be fair to him, all the recent evidence suggests he won't. And of course, now you got this clip you could clonk him over the head with if he indeed does buckle. But, you know, hopefully he doesn't get to the point where the Republicans can use the debt ceiling to their advantage. But we'll see. But I do like this aggression, the new Biden, this aggression from him. I ain't gonna do it. You see that? You see that, Mitch McConnell and Ted Cruz? Those are my nuts. And they're swanging. And they're on your forehead. Bitch. Ever since Adpocalypse, when YouTube defunded all independent news and politics overnight, we haven't trusted them. We know they can pull the rug out from underneath us at any time. If you enjoy this content, please consider tipping $1 or $2 per month on the Secular Talk Patreon. Link in the video description box below. Thanks for your support.